Everyone, do you have any machine lying in your closet and which is no use to you right now? You can always bring it out, because now I'm going to give free sewing classes which will be help you gradually for your repairs and alteration. My name is Bindya, and this program is in partnership with City of Toronto and Delta Family. So look forward to all these class sessions which will be provided to you online virtually, so you can do all the repairs and alterations in the comfort of your home. See you later. Hello everyone, this is my first session with you all regarding the sewing machine, and this is a basic sewing machine which I brought for you to show. Generally all the machines, their function is similar, so this is the basic one. So I'll start showing how the function of every part works on the sewing machine. Now on this side, if you'll see, it's got a hand wheel. The function of the hand wheel is to bring up your needle up and down. So if you'll see, I'm moving it and the needle is going up and down. So this is what happens, that whenever you're sewing, the needle goes down to bring up the thread from bobbin and it comes up. Now just to let you know that as you'll be working on this machine, always move the hand wheel anti-clockwise, okay? Later on, I'll explain all the reasons why when we'll be doing the future sessions with you. But just to let you know, always move the hand wheel anti-clockwise, okay? The next part is, we have got 3 dials on the top. The first dial function is the stitch length. So as we are sewing, this is the length of the stitch that you need, desired ones, you do it accordingly. Next dial is for the zigzag sewing. So the zigzag sewing is when you're doing the decorative stitches, that's the time you use this dial. Now the last dial over here is actually a tension dial. Generally we shouldn't be touching it because they do have a recommended size given, like 3 to 4, 5. But generally we just don't touch it because this actually controls the tension of your top thread. Now let's move on to the knob that we have over here. If you'll see, we have got a lot of decorative designs over here. Now the function of all these designs, if you'll see, the black one is with the regular dial adjustment. So you can do any number from 0 to 5. And if you have noticed, we have a blue and red color lines. Now these are related to your dial up over here. Now if you'll keep on moving and go from 0 to your stretchy over here, so these S1 and S2 are for the stretchy fabrics. You can use it for the regular fabrics too, but these would give you the designs, and as you move the knob, it will match to whatever designs you are desired. Okay, so now the blue color will give you the blue design over here, and the red one will give you the red colors over here. Now let's move on to this side of your machine. Now if you notice, there's a switch over here. Sometimes there's a push button also. The purpose of this one is to do your back stitch. Back stitch is when you're sewing, this machine runs backward and locks up your seam. So later on, now this one, let's move on. And now as you have already seen, this is a needle. This is the screw that holds the needle. And if you have noticed, there's a foot over here. Now that foot purpose is to hold the fabric. And we do have a lift up lever in the back of the machine, which we'll see it later on, to bring your presser foot up and down. Because when you are sewing, you need to put the presser foot down so that the fabric moves good. Now this portion, the steel part, is called a throat plate. Now this throat plate holds the shuttle inside, which I'm going to show it later on with the bobbin. And this has got teeth. If you've seen teeth, they are called feed dogs. Okay, just like dogs have teeth. And the purpose of this feed dog is that it allows the fabric to move forward and backward. So if you'll see when I'm moving it, it is going front, down and up. So that's the purpose of it. Now these throat plates have got some guidelines. Now these guidelines are used when you'll be doing your sewing, and the function, which I'll show it later on. Now let's move on. We have a thread cutter over here. So when you finish sewing, this has got a clipper. So you don't need a separate scissor or a seam cutter, like, So this is good enough for you to cut off the threads. So now let's move. There's just one part that, remember, I showed you that this was the presser foot lift up bar. So the function is this, okay, to bring up your presser foot and bring it down, okay. Now let's move on. Now we have inside this section. Now this section, it comes out like this. This is actually a sort of a toolbox also. We generally have our tools over here. But the main purpose of this one is it is in front of the bobbin, which is a part of your sewing, because you need two threads. One is from the top thread and one is the bottom thread, which comes from the bobbin. Now how to take your bobbin out? You just pull it out like this, and this is your bobbin case, and the bobbin, which I'll show you later on how to fill it up, that goes into it and we put it back. Now this portion has got a groove on top for you to clip it back. So you need to have that click sound. Now in my next few sessions, I'll be explaining how you can remove if a thread gets stuck, which will come as later on with all the troubleshooters. Now we'll just put it back. So this has got a track, so it can't go straight out like that. So generally we slide it and it goes in like this. Now the last part I wanted to show you is that how you plug in the machine. Now this one has got like these kind of 3 pins. So you can't plug it like this. So most of the time people do get a little bit confused. Just to let you know that this is the way we put it inside. And of course it's plugged to the socket. And this is the way we do your on and off of the sewing machine. Now the last thing on the top is, this is called a spool pin. A spool is the thread that we'll be using. It always got a lock over here. Why? A stopper is put because the thread can fall off. And this is to fill up your bobbin, which I'll be showing you in my next session, how to fill up a bobbin and see its function. And that's all for the class. Thank you so much. I'll see you later in the next session. Thank you. Hi everyone, this is Bindya. Now we are going to see how a machine works, because the last session I explained you how the parts of machine and how to use them. So now, right now, we'll start learning the basic sewing. So just to start off as a beginner, if you're not familiar with putting the thread and doing the bobbin, let's first practice doing it on a piece of paper. So it's always a good idea, get a piece of paper from a notebook, have a ruled lines, and put it on your machine, because this is the time we have to now know how much pressure to put on the pedal. So as I showed you last time, you just lift up your presser foot, keep your paper under that. I like to start in the center of the paper because then you can hold the paper very comfortably. So you can bring your presser foot down, put your foot on the pedal. Now what is a pedal? Pedal, if you'll see, it's on the floor, which you have to put your pressure on it. So if you'll see, it's got a written part over there, that's your top part, and you'll be pressing it like this, okay? So this is the way you control the speed of the machine. Now let's move on and start off. So as a beginner, just be a little bit careful with your hand, keep it a little bit far off from the needle, and then you can start a little bit, go slowly in the beginning, because you have to really try your best to do the sewing on the line. Now as a beginner, what I would recommend, that look at the line and the needle. You don't have to look anywhere else. The rest would be good. Just keep on looking at the paper, lines and the needle, and keep on sewing. So this what happens. You learn how to control the pressure, that pressure that you need on your foot to control the speed. So once you get used to all this, then you can move on fast. And just like you don't have a thread on your machine, it'll never get stuck. So playing with the paper is the right way to start as a beginner. Now what I'm going to show you, now next step is how to do a back stitch. Okay, so for the back stitch, I had showed you this knob, that this makes your fabric or the paper go backwards. So if you'll see, you keep on watching over here, whenever we have to start off, it's a good idea to hold it. And generally some machines have a push button too. So you have to see what your brand of the machine carries. So for this one, I just have to hold it. And then you put your foot on the presser foot. Okay, so now this is for the pedal, like I'm pressing it down. Now see, like the machine is going backwards. Okay, so then I go at the edge of the paper and I start sewing straight, because now I have left that the back stitch. Now keep on sewing till the end of the paper, and so if you feel that you are little bit like away from the paper, it's a good idea to move the hand wheel towards you. So that allows the needle to travel as your requirement. And now if you've seen, I've come to the end of the paper. Now again, I'll hold the foot, this thing down, the back stitch one, and I'm going to press my pedal. So this will give me just 2-3 stitches are good enough. That's it. So these, if you have noticed why I'm teaching you back stitch, because as we'll be doing further sessions, this is very much mandatory to lock up your seams. So which, just like how I said, these are all your beginning classes. There's so much to learn, and I'll keep on showing you more and more things of the functioning of it. So now what we are going to do, the next step is, I'm going to show you how to thread your machine. So if you have an empty, this is a spool of a pin, a spool of a thread, and this is a bobbin, empty bobbin, which we are going to fill it up because we need bobbin to go inside underneath. So we need 2 sets of thread. One would be a top thread and one would be a bobbin thread. So now how do you fill up a bobbin? So if you have seen, on this machine, we have got 2 different kind of lines. One is a solid line, one are broken lines. So broken line is the one that shows how to fill up the bobbin. So now this is the bobbin that we'll be filling up, and this is the spool pin, so which we'll be putting the thread inside. And just like how I showed you, this has got a stopper. You need to put the stopper, otherwise the thread will fall off from here. So you just need to put the stopper over here. And now the next step, what we are going to do, because right now we are going to fill up the bobbin and then we'll be doing it till the needle. So the first step you'll have to do is you have number 1. If you've seen, the broken line has got number 1. This is where you put in, and then it goes over here. So if you'll see the line, it's going straight. Always follow the sketch. Okay, because some machine, they go circular like this, sometimes they go clockwise. So you have to follow as the marked on your machine. So now this one, it'll go. So if you see, this is the way it was traveling. So number 2, this has got a spring inside, but be careful, don't play around. But the thread needs to go inside that spring to give you a good hole and to allow your bobbin to fill up very nicely. Now, if you have seen, the bobbin has got 2 holes. It's got a hole up and it's got a hole down. Okay, so there's no top and bottom over here. So if you'll see, this diagram shows that this thread is passed in the hole, but from the center, neither from bottom, not from top. It is threaded from the center going upwards. Okay, it goes upwards, you hold it, and then you put it over here. Okay, so your thread, this thread shouldn't be long. Why? The reason is because as it will start winding, it catches in the bottom of the holder. So I don't want that to happen, because then I have to take it off and I'll be wasting thread. So it's a good idea, keep the end small and you have to hold it tight. Now the last step that needs to be done is you need to push it. Okay, that's the way only the bobbin will start winding up. Good. Sometimes it happens that your bobbin is like this and you have accidentally put it like that, your machine won't work at all. So you have to remember that this is actually locks up the machine too. So as I'll be doing it, you'll see me putting my foot on the pedal. You don't have to get scared, because this functions, it does it itself. Okay. So now you'll see, now what has happened, it is now start winding. Okay. So now you see how it is getting winded so well. Now you keep on doing it. If you need less thread, you can always stop in. But I generally say if you want to have a lot of the bobbins, you can stock it up and use them. So It will automatically stop. It will give you a click sound saying that, like showing you that it is now done. So I feel we have done quite a bit, and so I think so it's good enough for us to use it. I don't want it to be too much also, so that it will be good in the bobbin. Okay, so now we can take it out. So that's why I said the function of this is it stops the machine, it allows your bobbin to fill up, but to take it out you need to push it back, and you can remove it, and this will allow your machine to work also. So the next step now we have done, we have already filled up the bobbin. Now the next step we need to do is we are going to thread the top thread. So how we are going to use it, it's a good idea. Take your thread off and follow the numbers. Okay, even if you don't have the numbers, you follow my instructions. So you go in the first one, then this has got number 2 over here, number 2. And then if you'll keep on seeing over here, we have number 3 over here, and there's a reverse, like if you see a U-turn over here. So U-turn means you need to bring your thread up over here. Now this thread has to go in a thread take-up bar. Now you don't see the thread take-up bar. Now what do? You move your hand wheel anti-clockwise, okay, till that bar comes up. So you keep on moving, and you see this bar is coming up. You see the bar is coming up. This is exactly where your number 5, the thread has to go through behind that, okay? So it automatically goes inside this section, which you can see it clearly, okay? So if the thread hasn't gone inside the thread take-up bar, you won't get any stitches, okay? So this step is very important. Then you move on down, you have your number 6. And if you'll see, we have a space over there. That's called a thread guide, okay? It's in front of the needle and next to the screw. But you have to hold your thread. It doesn't go straight in like this. So there's an opening over here. You just pass it and then bring your thread down. So that's the last thread guide. That is really good, like if you want good sewing. Now the last step is to put the thread in the needle. Now these needles, the holes are facing towards you. For the industrial sewing machine, they are left to right, but these are in the front eye. So now you can put it. So I would like to say, like, because these are sometimes polyester threads, cotton threads. So sometimes they do have like little bit threads coming. So it's a good idea. This is a clipper. Generally we use it in the fashion industry and the sewing industry. And so this is actually used. It's very convenient to clip off the thread like that. Okay. So now it's good for me to put it inside the needle. So when it's already out, now what is the next step? We need to put the bobbin inside the bobbin case. So how I showed you in my first session, how do you open up this toolbox? You slide it towards left like that, and then you open up this section, and that's where you see the bobbin case over here. Now for the opening, as I had shown you the first session, to bring it out, you need to pull it from here, okay? So once this is out, it's empty, it hasn't got any bobbin. So we need to put now the filled up bobbin inside. And the trick over here is, it's got no opening anywhere else except over here. This is a very small slit, if you'll see. You just go through it, let it travel through this. It's a little bit tight, so you have to just a little bit push it, but it has to come in the center. Then only the sewing will happen. If it is not in the center, it's not going to, create some loops or not give you good stitching. So this is the way, and then you have to check whether the thread is flowing outwards nicely, okay? Now, the next step over here, you have to put it back. Just like how I showed you in the first session, it's got a little bit like a shape over there on top, which you will see it. I'll just a little bit lift up the machine so that you can see. That's the place where this section of the bobbin case would be going, okay? So I'll now push it, okay? I'm just holding it a little bit higher so you people can see it. Now you see where I have to move it. I have to bring it at that spot and push it in till I get a click sound. The click sound is needed because if you don't get the click sound, what will happen? Your bobbin case would be loose and you might break the needle as you'll be sewing. Now this is done. Now we'll be closing it. We'll close up this section. And now how to bring that thread up from the bobbin. So what I'll be doing, I'll lift up the presser foot and I need to bring the thread in between. See, there's a slit over there. That's why it's called feet. Okay, presser foot. Why? Because it's got an opening. It's like your feet. Okay, two foot. So you put it over here. And then the next step, what you need to do, hold it nicely, not too tight, not too loose. You need to go towards your hand wheel. Okay. Now your hand wheel, you have to move it anti-clockwise. Now the thread has come. We have to be very cautious. Go anti-clockwise. Let the needle travel down. Okay. Keep on moving anti-clockwise. Let the needle travel down. Let it come up. Okay. So one time it's come up. Okay. So now what has happened? We need to bring the bobbin thread wheel from the bottom. Okay. The bobbin thread. Okay, so now you've seen that my bobbin thread is out and this is my top thread. So now what we can do, now we can start sewing in a piece of fabric. So always try practicing on a piece of fabric. I like cutting it into a square or a rectangle, whatever it is you're comfortable with it. And as a beginner, try using a cotton fabric. Because using a synthetic fabric, you will have a lot of issues. So as a beginner, it's always a good idea. Take a fabric. You can always take from actually your old clothes also. You can cut it. And so what I would like you to do, that first step that to learn, it's good idea to do straight lines. Okay, just so that now, because now you have threaded your machine, you have to be a little bit careful with regarding your sewing. So the first step, how as a beginner, to know, am I doing the right kind of a sewing? So I generally recommend all my participants that you go with the edge of your foot and match it to the edge of your fabric. Because it's a straight line, so you'll get a good straight line over here. So you bring your presser foot down, you go in the beginning of the fabric, and now you can start sewing. Go slow, just like how I said, now you have thread over there. Inside, you have to go very careful. Yeah, so this is my sewing happening. So what am I watching? I'm not watching at the needle at all. I'm just watching at the side of the presser foot and the edge of my fabric because I want straight line. So needle is going to do its own job. So yeah, so we just have to think about this. Okay, so you keep on sewing till you come till the end. And you see, I'm holding the fabric, not too tight, not too light also. I'm just guiding my fabric. Because as I showed you in the first session, the feed dog does the function of moving the fabric front, backwards. It's that purpose. So now when I've done the first line, so what I do, I take it off, I lift up from the presser foot, I pull it out like this. Okay, as I'm pulling it, I have the clipper. Remember I showed you the clipper? So this is the one that cuts it automatically. And the beauty of this clipper is the length is so good that you keep it in the back. This won't come out of the needle when you'll be doing your second sewing. So it's a good idea to clip off your threads. Always keep your work neat. Now the second practice, what you'll be doing, you'll use this as your guideline and sew it over here. This is all as a beginner practice. If you're a sewer, you may not have to do it, but it's always a good idea to give it a try. So this is what I'll be doing. I'll do. And so now what am I watching? I'm watching this line and the side of my presser foot. So what will happen? I'll get two parallel lines, which will be even. Again, I'm cutting it off. Okay, and then now you can see it. Okay, so these are the lines that we should have straight lines. Okay, so now the next what I'm going to show is using the back stitch, because we need to practice the back stitch, and it's always a good idea to do it on a piece of fabric rather than doing it on the garment. Now for the back stitch, for the practice, you start a little bit ahead. I'm still going to follow this line as my guideline. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start a little bit ahead so that I get 2-3 stitches as my back stitch and then keep on coming, which you've already seen when I showed you on a piece of paper in my previous session. So let's do the back stitch. So the back stitch, just like how I told you the last session, that we need to hold it first and then press on the press up first. Okay, so now what has happened, it has gone till the edge of the fabric. Now I need to sew straight line till I come over here. Now I'm reaching the end of the fabric. So what I'm going to do, I have to come till the end and then I'll be doing my back stitch. So I've reached my back over here and now I'm going to hold it down and go on my pedal. That's it. Take it off. And I'm going to show you what that back stitch looks like. So this is what the back stitch looks like in the beginning and in the end. This is what you will be using when you sew a garment, that the seam has to have the back stitch on both the sides so it doesn't open up, which we'll all be seeing in the future sessions.